It started on a cold morning at the main gate of a military base. The fog was still heavy, curling around the razor wire and concrete walls. A young woman stood quietly near the checkpoint, holding a small brown envelope and a calm face. Her car engine was off. The guard on duty, a sergeant barely in his 30s, looked at her through the window but didn't move. He frowned. "ID, ma'am," he said sharply. She nodded, opened her purse, and handed him a leather wallet. But before he could even take it, another guard whispered something in his ear. The sergeant's tone hardened. "You can't come in. Wait outside. This area's restricted." Her voice stayed calm. "Please check my ID first." "I said wait outside." He barked, slamming the gate closed. For a few seconds, nothing moved, only the sound of the wind brushing against the flag above the post. Before I tell you what happened next, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Valley. Tell me where you're watching from. The woman didn't argue. She stepped back and waited. She didn't call anyone, didn't raise her voice. She just stood there, still, dignified, quiet. Her eyes stayed fixed on the gate, as though she had all the time in the world. Inside the post, the sergeant chuckled to his team. People think they can walk into a military base just like that. No appointment, no clearance. But one of the younger guards glanced at the woman again. Something about her posture felt unusual. She wasn't angry or afraid. She looked like someone who had seen far greater things than a base gate. Minutes passed. The cold grew sharper. The guards returned to their duties. Then a black car appeared from the far end of the road. Another, then another. The sound of engines echoed through the mist. Within moments, 5 vehicles lined up in front of the same gate that had just been slammed shut. The sergeant froze. From the first car stepped out a tall man in a crisp uniform, the insignia of a general gleaming on his shoulder. Behind him, more senior officers followed. Every soldier on post snapped to attention. The lead general's voice was calm but heavy. "Who stopped her at the gate?" The sergeant's mouth went dry. "Sir, I was just following procedure." The general turned toward the woman, who had not moved from her spot. "Ma'am," he said, lowering his tone, "we're deeply sorry for this. Please come in." She smiled faintly, as if she had expected this. The envelope in her hand trembled slightly in the cold. "No need for apologies, General. I was here to deliver this personally." The general took the envelope and opened it. Inside was a confidential letter marked with the national seal, signed by the defense minister herself. The woman stepped closer and said softly, "She asked me to bring it. She wanted to see firsthand how we treat the people we don't recognize." The sergeant's face turned pale. A silence swept through the base. Even the flag above the post seemed to pause in the still air. The general looked at the letter again. His voice broke the silence. "You're the minister's aide?" The woman shook her head gently. "No, I'm her sister." It was like the air itself shifted. The same woman who had been refused entry now stood at the center of the base, surrounded by the highest-ranking officers in the country. The sergeant's eyes fell to the ground. His voice cracked. "Ma'am, I didn't know." She stopped him.
"You didn't need to know who I was," she said quietly.
"You only needed to know how to treat people." The general dismissed the guards and turned to her. "Thank you for this lesson, ma'am. We won't forget it." She nodded, her expression calm. Not proud, not angry, just deeply sad. "Respect isn't given by rank," she said softly. "It's revealed by behavior." The general stood in silence as she turned to leave. No one moved until her car disappeared beyond the fog. That evening, the story spread across the entire base. Soldiers whispered about the woman who had been turned away and the convoy of generals who came for her. Some called it an inspection. Others said it was a test. But everyone agreed on one thing. That day changed the way they looked at people forever. The sergeant never forgot her face. He later requested to be reassigned to public relations training, saying he wanted to learn how to see beyond the uniform. And somewhere, in the minister's office, a small note was placed under a paperweight. It read, "Power isn't shown by how loudly we command, but by how gently we treat those who cannot command us." If this story moved you, like, comment, and share your Kindness Valley thoughts below. And subscribe for more untold stories.